What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Happy Madden franchise dev blog week to you all. At some point during this week, we are going to get the big time dev blog that will kind of give us the entirety of the scope of the new features that are going to be added to the Madden 19 franchise, which Rex, the outgoing creative director, said was going to be much improved, and there's going to be a lot more attention to detail. We're going to wait and see, because I know a lot of you guys are probably, going to base your purchase of this game whether or not that dev blog gives you what you want to hear. So with that being said, I figure why not start the week out with a requested video, because I talked about the new director for Madden kind of throwing shade, if you will, at the connected franchise mode community, saying that we're, essentially we're impossible to please, which I was actually as insulted as I possibly could be about a video game when he said that, because my point was, I don't know, it would be an example, a euphemism, metaphor, whatever, was that Madden is this old jalopy that is missing a bunch of parts. All these parts have been falling off along the way through all the new years of Madden, and really, franchise mode players just want most of these old features that help with the immersion of the game back on. And through my contact with Moonlight Swami, who's a former YouTuber that now works and is employed by Madden, I kind of said, we want these old features, and I laid out a bunch of features, and I got a bunch of likes and all that stuff, and he said, yeah, some of these are really, really cool, but a lot of these old features can't be implemented in today's game. So what I did, through the help of a Reddit post, now his name was Popeyes, I'm probably going to butcher his name, but full credit goes to him, because these screenshots I think he took with a Polaroid off a big back TV. They look like shit, but they're going to act as a background for this video. He came out with a bunch of, I think he listed like 100 of them, and I went through it kind of on a nostalgia trip and went through features that I can't really see an argument why they can't be brought into the game. And if I can see a personal reason why, Madden would not want to have it, I'll kind of try to elaborate on why. But ultimately, I'm going to give to you the top 10 old features from previous Maddens that I, and probably most of you, want to see re-implemented in the Madden franchise. So without further ado, number 10. Number 10 is easy. 32 team control. Right now, you have to stake about an hour and a half to create a head coach or a player or owner or whatever you want for all 32 teams to give you full control. We'll call it, commissioner mode. And essentially for me, 32 team control is a way to escape the horrendous AI that you see in Madden. The bad trades, the bad drafting that makes zero sense. If you control all 32 teams, you could just go through it, do it all yourself. It takes a lot of time. It's pretty brutal, to be honest with you, but it's a way around it. So how about in previous games, you used to be right off the main menu, you could just tick, I want to control all 32 teams. Takes 2 seconds versus taking an hour and a half to kind of compensate for the poor Madden AI in franchise mode. There we go. We're starting with an easy one that should be 100% easily implemented into a game. Going to point number 9 is going to be the Madden moments. I always thought the Madden moments was pretty fun. Now, not all these points are going to be directly linked to franchise mode, but they're just kind of are, but kind of not. And Madden moments for me was awesome. You call it couch gaming, where you just sit with a couple buddies on your couch on the same console and playing some games. Madden moments was one of the most popular things we would do when we're drinking beers. And now you can kind of say it's something that's got locked behind Madden Ultimate Team, because you do see some moment type challenges and stuff like that in Ultimate Team. But ultimately, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I thought Madden moments, when you completed some of the more difficult ones, you got achievements, you unlocked jerseys and stuff like that in your franchise mode. So I could be wrong on that, but if I'm not, that's why I'm talking about this in a franchise mode feature. But ultimately, from a main menu type of game mode, it was awesome. I love Madden moments. There's no reason why it shouldn't be back, unless they just want you to kind of force it. If you want to play something like that, play it in Ultimate Team. Going to number 8 is going to be historic rosters. As you can see from the picture, you used to be able to have multiple historic rosters for each individual team, and for me, this is exactly what I want to do. If you want to start a franchise mode, you could tick off, I want all these historic rosters to be implemented. Or if you want to do a play now or whatever, you would have your choice. If I want to be the Philadelphia Eagles, I could be the 04 Eagles going up against the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. My buddy wanted to be the Ravens. It was fun. It made no reason why you couldn't be in the game. So the 2 reasons why I think this feature could be, looked down upon. One is that Madden Ultimate Team. If you want to play with Ray Lewis, Bo Jackson, Randall Cunningham, well, why don't you go hop into Ultimate Team, spend a couple bucks, maybe you can get them, spend a couple $1,000, you'll probably get them. Or B, we don't have the licensing rights. There's a reason why certain legends aren't in Ultimate Team, because they straight up haven't given EA the permission to use it, which I see, yeah, but then you can just take an NCAA approach. If I want to be the 2000 Green Bay Packers, just let me pop in there, see number 4 quarterback, that's all it says, make him black so it doesn't even look like Brett Favre. That seems like a workaround. If he has no physical likeness aside from a number than a certain player, you're probably fine. Or Madden could straight up wash their hands of it and just say, here are historic rosters. You can download 3 per team from the community files. There you go. We're not touching anything. We're not implementing anything. It's all in the community. Boom. There you go. That's how you implement historic rosters. That is a workaround. I didn't even go to law school, and I know the workaround there, okay? Go to number 7 is a twofer. It's create a team / create a uniform. Now, create a team was awesome, and it is a probably top 3 requested feature. We talk about top 5, top 3 requested features because that's supposedly what Madden listens to when they decide what they're adding to franchise mode. But create a team essentially got the Knicks from the NFL, because I guess someone made the Raiders logo look pink, and then when they did the exclusivity rights between EA and the NFL, they said, hey, no more create a team because we don't want teams tarnishing our brand. I understand that from a little bit, but you look back to Madden 12 where you could have a create a team, but they all were randomly generated teams. You could be the Sharks, you could be the Monarchs, you could be whatever, but you could come with the name, you could come with the colors. You just had the logo was the predefined thing that Madden made you choose from. Now, that's not perfect. I would like pretty much complete customization like the team builder in NCAA, but you're probably not going to get that, so have some leeway here. A lot of these features, a lot of people that are banging at the door for them, they don't understand it's a two-way street. You need a give and take, and I think if you just give us 100 teams to be able to choose from, that's still good enough. That still can make it so I can straight up change all 32 teams in franchise mode and make it my own little world and add that immersion. It'd be awesome. That would be simply awesome. The same goes for create a uniform. You can do whatever you want there. You can have the the creative community in Madden is simply top notch. You can see that with the rosters and all that stuff. I'm sure they would go to town on the create team, create a uniform. And hey, here's a little tidbit for EA. If you get worried about the IMV Gaming Gridiron Warriors, that game gets some steam and you can't buy them out and they're going to go to market, well, why don't you just add a create a uniform, create a team feature, make it so you can have more than 32 teams in a franchise. You can import up to, we'll say, 120 teams into your franchise if you want, and you just, there you go. You can do whatever you want. You just can't use NFL logos or modify logos of current NFL teams. Watch people just go straight up create an NCAA game. They'll make every single team in NCAA. You can download their rosters, you can download their jerseys, and you can play like that. So essentially, it'd be a port from an NCAA series into whatever Madden engine you're running. We'll call it Madden 20. There you go. I guarantee whatever momentum that IMV Gaming is going to get, I assume their gameplay won't be as good as what Madden has, and there'll be a lot of people that won't jump to their competition, and they'll say, hey, if I really want to, I can play my own little NCAA on the Madden franchise. There you go. Two birds stoned at once. To point number 6, it's a quick one, kind of goes with a creative team where you could add more than 32 teams, is if you could do that, bring back the expansion draft. You already have the fantasy draft feature. This would just be something new. It wouldn't make any sense if you can't really have more than 32 teams, but kind of piggybacking on the creative team, have the expansion draft. Add something new to a game where teams have to protect a certain amount of players, and other than that, they go to free agency. Be a great way to start off a franchise and make it completely different than the kind of redundant, either you start with the main roster or you start with a fantasy draft. So there's a quick and easy point number 6. Going to point number 5, it's a feature that I actually talked to Moonlight Swami. He actually kind of sounded like he never played an older Madden like that featured this, but he seemed pretty receptive to it, and that is total control within your Play the Moment or Super Sim. So right now, Play the Moment is a pretty popular feature. I would say, quarter, maybe more of people that play franchise mode just straight up sim it. They don't want to play the games. They just want the kind of head coach feel to it. But it's just like you have to deal with, oh my god, the bad play calling. Having your running back run it 40 times when your clear strength is the passing game and stuff like that. So total control essentially is, the super sim, but you're just calling the plays. It's essentially a head coach mode. Now, the only reason why, put on your tinfoil hats, why this feature could not be implemented is maybe there is some scripting. People always go on and on and on that they're scripting within Madden, but there's no real proof. But sometimes I feel like things are fishy within the Play the Moment sim. You could have a 99 overall team. You can get bodied by a 72 overall team in the playoffs. It makes no sense. Maybe there's some coding that's going awry. Maybe there's some sort of scripting. And if you had total control of the sim, that scripting would not be able to work. So tinfoil hat theory on why there's not total control. If not, seems like a very easier feature to implement and add an improvement to the Play the Moment sim, which hasn't had any love over the last 2 or 3 seasons. Bullet point number 4 is my most requested feature. Going to Madden 20, I think this is going to be the biggest thing that they need to address, and that is adding offensive and defensive coordinators, and more importantly, adding the coaching carousel. So essentially, we used to have coordinators. You used to be able to just straight up hire an offensive and defensive coordinator to your head coaching staff. And a lot of times, you'd make former players that have full random generated people, but you could just hire Brian Dawkins after you're retired to be your DC and Peyton Manning to be your OC. Now, that was pretty good. And he also had, as you can see, another picture, is your coaching grades. It kind of just gave you a broad grade and a little bit deep dive into what you're good at, what you're not good at. Doug Peterson would have 99 fourth down play calling. You know what I'm saying? You'd have Marvin Lewis, 99, can't get fired. But ultimately, it lets you know where your team is strong and where your team is weak at. It gives you areas that you can improve upon, areas that you can, know that you're dominant on. Maybe helps you when you're trying to recruit free agents. But as of right now, ultimately, coaching carousel is the biggest need, because you can either be a player, a coach, or an owner at the start of a franchise mode is incredibly bland. Adding a coaching carousel, which I've talked about countless times on this channel, essentially from NCAA, you start as an offensive defensive coordinator. You don't get your dream job of head coaching the Philadelphia Eagles right away. You have to start maybe as a DC of the Lions, spend there for 5 years, build up your very in-depth skill tree. If I want to be a DB specialist, I just keep building up these perks that add maybe 1 or 2 zone coverage, 1 or 2 pursuit, and as that gets better, I get recognized. Maybe I can get a head coaching job. Maybe it's not with the Eagles. Maybe I need to go to the Cleveland Browns, spend 2 seasons there, and then I can go to the Philadelphia Eagles when Doug Peterson wants to retire or something like that. But it adds another story to your franchise mode and that much more depth. And I think that it'd be actually unacceptable if they don't look at adding in coaching carousel for Madden 20, because look anywhere on the internet, it is the top community feature being requested by the users. Moving on to point number 3. That's the improved scouting. That's another big, broad subject that people want to see improve upon. So here are just 2 little aspects that I remember that I really like. First up, you're going to see specialized recruiting. So basically, once you get your draft class, you have to run them through certain workouts, and that is how you unlock your information. It's just as easy and then tapping A 3 times and getting out what their elusiveness is, what their trucking is, what their stiff arm is. This way here, it's actually some strategy. If you want a power back, you have to look for the specific power backs and then also scout the specific traits you want, not just what EA is giving you. That adds a lot more difficulty to the scouting process. And another one was scouting reports, and that actually kind of comes in depth with a scouting team. You used to be able to have to hire scouting agencies, and depending on what scouting agency you had, it would be the information you would get. If you had a 1-star scouting agency, they basically would give you what you have right now in Madden, just player grades, and that's it. If you had a 5-star scouting agency, they would go in like, this guy's injury history, be worried about that. Kind of more so what we get in like the Madden news stories, except in a lot more personalized experience that is greater for the user. And perfect. It was perfect in one of the older Maddens. You would find out why this guy is supposedly going in the second round, why guys are slipping, why guys didn't attend the combine. It's right there. It's not like, oh, you didn't check the Madden news week 7? Come on, bro. But this way here, it also helps you find diamonds in the rough, because you could just find a guy that, yeah, he's not good at this, not good at this, but he's a really good route runner. I think he could be a slot wide receiver, and he could have all red grades. But you need a slot wide receiver, you can buy him, and you can build him, and you can grow him. You grow them into big trees. And having these more in-depth notes could be something that's implemented through the custom draft classes. If I make a custom draft class, maybe I can just type in certain notes about certain players, and then Madden does a thing and randomizes the entire draft class. But it adds a lot more immersion to an incredibly bland scouting system. Now, the only reason why I think some of these features might not be included is because Madden wants the franchise mode to be for the average fan, not the diehard, just for the casual gamer, which is incredibly naive. The casual person is going to play Madden Ultimate Team. The diehards are playing franchise mode, and we are craving for more depth. Going to point number 2 quickly is the Senior Bowl. It's kind of pigeons on the drafting. It's just, you get to actually play a game with your rookies, see which ones actually play well. Sometimes you can get, I think the Senior Bowl still exists. They talk about it in the draft stories and stuff like that. But it's also going to double up with the Pro Bowl, because really, I don't give a shit about the Pro Bowl not being in the game, but it is a top community feature. People want to see the Pro Bowl back as a playable mode. So I'm going to piggyback that on, I want to see the Senior Bowl and get more in depth to the scouting there, but that is a top community feature. And finishing up at number 1. Now, this isn't really listed in a certain order, like what I want to see. I just more so just listed 10. So this is not like the most important thing or anything like that, but it is the training camp. I love the training camp because I could build and grow my players how I want it, when I want it, why I wanted it. So if I wanted Michael Vick, everyone knew Michael Vick did not have good deep throw accuracy, did not have great medium throw accuracy. So you can just straight up cheese it and say, I want to keep developing him there and grow and build his game there, which makes complete sense. While you can make it so you can't abuse it, why can't I decide what areas I want to improve upon my player in a special boosted training camp? You saw it in NCAA when you do the players leaving. It gives you the training skill boost. That's something you can add monetization if you wanted to. I know that's faux pas talking about adding monetization to franchise mode, but that was something they had in NCAA franchise that added monetization, which hell, probably gave it more attention because EA found out they can make money off it. But ultimately, having a training camp would give certain players a little bit of boost, give some specialized training to guys that you want to see make the big jump in year 1 and year 2. Again, strategy comes into play because you need to allocate what players get what, because you only have a certain amount of reserve points to spend, but it can make everything in the world a lot greater. Plus, I feel like this kind of helps you out a little bit if you start your franchise earlier on and a player in real life balls out, but in your franchise mode, because you started, he sucks. Well, then you can just straight up say, well, if I really want to make this realistic, I'm going to have to spend a lot of training on him the next 2 or 3 seasons to get him up to where he is in real life. Perfect example, Nelson Aguilar for the Philadelphia Eagles started out with a base 71, ended up having a massive turnaround season, But because I started my save when he sucked, he just always sucked. But if I had a special training camp where I could just constantly give him all the attention, I could easily jump him up, boost him up into the 80s or whatever, where he deserved to be. So again, a little bit more into the offseason, because right now the offseason, as far as developing your team, is pretty much non-existent. And we have featured that. How about franchise modes? So those are top 10 features that I would like to see from previous Madden games. Once again, duct taped onto the jalopy that we now know as the Madden franchise. Did I miss any good ones? Let me know in the comment section below. If you guys agree with this list, also let me know. If it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button. And until next time, it's C4 saying, like you, I'm anxiously anticipating and awaiting the Madden dev blog for the franchise mode, so better believe I'll do a full deep dive and take on that and let you know if it's good, if it's bad, or if it's just meh. But until that time, it's C4 saying peace out.